Okay, hello again. We're doing introducing JavaScript part 2, so assuming that you have seen part 1, we're going to go through the W3 schools, just sort of going in this order. We'll see what it looks like. So um, the goal right now is to get enough of the rules in our mind to be able to use JavaScript. There are a lot of rules. They must all be followed. So with HTML, if you have some mistake in your HTML, sometimes the browser will show something that looks reasonable anyway. With JavaScript, a lot of these rules, if you have the tiniest mistake, then it will show nothing. Nothing will happen. All right. So you may think this is sort of boring or hard to remember a bunch of rules, but that's the way it goes. Okay, so we're going to start with where to. And this is talking about places that you can put JavaScript. So we'll go with one of the files we worked on. I will go back to why don't we go with the color picker. So here's colors.html. I'll save it as colors2.html. Alright, so now I can make changes. Right here we had the JavaScript code was inside of this onClick. So there's another way we can do it. In the head, this page would not validate as correct because it didn't have a head and a title. Alright, so some title. So inside of the head, we can have a script tag. That inside of the script tag, we can have JavaScript code. So one thing I can do is give a JavaScript function. So instead of having this code here, like this, which gets to be kind of hard to read, we would have it like this. Okay, so two places that we can have JavaScript code. One is directly inside of an onClick attribute. So inside of the onClick attribute, there's these quotes. Inside of there we can have JavaScript code. We can take that code and instead put it into a function like this. So I should be able to run this and it'll look very much the same. So this is now colors 2. Alright, let's try gray. Alright, now if I look here, so there's a little, in my inspect window, there's a little button here for EV for event that says there's a click event that's been set. And then we can see this is what happens when it gets clicked. This function runs. Alright. So we can put the commands right there, or we can put them up in the script. And that's what they would have said here. Alright. So this is in the head. There's a script. There's a function. You can try this example out. So this is showing that we could actually put the script anywhere. So it doesn't even have to just be in the head. It's traditional to put it in the head. They say here that you could put it even at the bottom. So you could try that out and see. The last thing in the body is the script. Still worked. Okay. It's often put in the head just because that's metadata that isn't the content of the page yet. It's extra, something extra. Okay, so we'll leave it like that for now. And then we'll do yet another one. HTML colors 3.html. Alright, so for this one, we actually take it out of this file completely, and we have colors3.js, which will be, so we want to put the JavaScript in its own separate file, and then we need to tell the HTML somehow that that file is there. And the syntax for that is, well, there's different ways to do it. So this is one way to do it. I could have a script src equals colors 3.css. Okay, so when it gets to this script tag, it'll go and look for the colors3.css file. Let's see if it still works. Apparently there was some issue. Let's see, colors 3, right, it's not .css, it's .js. JS for JavaScript. Traditional to use that as a file extension. Try again. There we go. Okay, so we could also put it there. And that's where they leave it. Okay, we could also put this script in the head, so either way would be okay. So the reason that it'll often be put in the head is because if somebody was reading your HTML code, they would start at the top, and then they would see, aha, there's a script file that you need to go look at. Okay. So that is the basics of where the JavaScript code is going to be, and now it's going to be a lot of rules. So we have one way that we can get the JavaScript running, and that is by clicking a button. And then once we're inside of there, we issue commands. So each command we normally write on its own line and end it with a semicolon. Okay, so before we do much else with it, there's three different common ways you would have the JavaScript code actually do something. So besides what we've done, we could also have it write to the HTML itself. We can have it pop up a window. We can have it log to the console. I'll show this one right now. This is very common to say console.log I am here. I was in the colors 3, so I should be able to load that. And if I look at the console, so when I click that, it's saying I am here. We see that it happened 7 times. Let me reload. Okay, so if I don't have my console open, I don't actually see that. So this is not, console.log is not really used to display your page. It's used for debugging. Let's go ahead and put a syntax error in here. Syntax error means I didn't follow the rules. The curly brace is to start a function. A function is a group of statements to run. So the rule is to make a function, you have the word function, the name of the function, which can be whatever you want, parentheses, and a left curly brace. That is next to your P on the keyboard with Shift. If I take that out, I'm not following the rules. There should be a problem. So let's see. There's a syntax error. Now, what if I make the syntax error down here? What happens? There is a syntax error. And then I get another error here. Changed color is not defined, and that's actually over in the HTML file because it says on click do change color, but it doesn't know about change color because there was an error when it tried to load the JavaScript. Okay, here's something else. Var is the keyword for making a variable, which is just a place to keep some information. So I can have something called x and I can put a number in there. What if I try to put y in there? So if I put y like this, then JavaScript is thinking I'm talking about the letter y. If I put y like this, it thinks I'm trying to get a variable called y. Is there a variable called y here? There's not. I didn't create one, so that may be an error. So there it is. Reference y is not defined. That's an error. And this background never changed because once it had the first error, that was it. And we see it never got to I am here. But if I put the error here, then we'll see that, so this is an interesting property of JavaScript, that it'll run until it gets to an error. This is actually true in any programming language. It'll run, and sometimes there could be an error, and it'll run until it gets to that error. So this console.log is useful to see, did your program get this far? Did it make it into the function even? Okay, so that's console.log, useful for putting messages to see, did that part of your code actually run? Window.alert just pops up a message. It's not so exciting right now. I'll go with, let's see, how much time are we at? What did I say we were going to do? Syntax, statements, comments. I think we'll leave that to the, well, let's just see what they say. I think we'll leave that for the next video. So instead of looking at that right now, that'll be for next time, which will be a little bit later. I'll update that there. So yeah, we'll leave it at that for now. So what you'll want to do before the next video is start reading through this stuff. There's a lot of information. You'll retain it the best if you read it first, then watch the video where we do examples, and then probably read it again. And you want a quiz question for this. So let me see. Okay, I have a quiz question for you for showing that you watched the file, watched the video. So the question is going to be about George. Okay. The question will be, George was a very good monkey. He had only one fault. And this is Curious George, so it's something about being curious. He was very curious. Okay, so the quiz Answer is he was very curious, period. That'll be the end of that.